Have you ever faced a challenge that seemed impossible? A task so daunting you didn't know where to start? Well, today we're talking about the original impossible task list, the 12 labors of Hercules. This isn't just a story about a strong guy fighting monsters. It's a timeless epic of resilience, cleverness, and the sheer will to overcome anything thrown your way. So, who was Hercules, or Heracles as the Greeks called him? He was the son of Zeus, king of the gods, and a mortal woman, making him a demigod of incredible strength. But this divine heritage came with a price. The goddess Hera, Zeus's wife, despised him. In a fit of madness sent by Hera, Hercules committed a terrible act. To atone for his sins, the Oracle of Delphi sentenced him to serve King Eurystheus for 12 years and complete any 12 tasks the king demanded. Eurystheus, who was also influenced by Hera, designed these labors to be not just difficult, but absolutely lethal. But he underestimated the heart of a hero. The first labor, slay the Nemean lion. This wasn't any ordinary lion. Its golden fur was impenetrable to mortal weapons. Arrows bounced off and swords shattered. Hercules cornered the beast in its lair, and realizing weapons were useless, he relied on his divine strength. He wrestled the lion, locked his arms around its neck, and with immense effort, choked the life out of it. To prove his victory, he used the lion's own razor-sharp claw to skin it, creating his iconic cloak and helmet. 1 down, 11 to go. Next up, the Lernaean Hydra. This was a venomous water serpent with 9 heads, and it had a terrifying trick. For every head you cut off, 2 more would grow back in its place. To make matters worse, Hera sent a giant crab to distract him. Hercules knew brute force alone wouldn't work. He needed a strategy. He enlisted the help of his nephew, Iolaus. As Hercules sliced off a head, Iolaus would immediately cauterize the wound with a flaming torch, preventing new heads from sprouting. For the final immortal head, Hercules buried it under a massive rock. He then dipped his arrows in the Hydra's toxic blood, creating deadly weapons for the future. This labor taught us that even the strongest hero needs a helping hand and a clever plan. Labor number 3 was to capture the Ceryneian hind. This wasn't about strength, but patience and endurance. This sacred deer, with golden antlers and bronze hooves, was precious to the goddess Artemis. It was so fast it could outrun an arrow. Harming it would mean incurring a goddess's wrath. So, what did Hercules do? He chased it for an entire year. He pursued the hind across lands and mountains, a marathon of epic proportions. Finally, the exhausted creature sought refuge, and Hercules managed to capture it without serious injury, carefully explaining the situation to a very understanding Artemis. The 4th labor brought him face to face with the Erymanthian boar, a fearsome beast terrorizing the countryside. This task was about strategy, not just a brawl. Instead of meeting it head-on in the forest, Hercules chased the boar up a mountain, deep into a snowdrift. The heavy snow slowed the massive animal, exhausting it, until Hercules could trap it in nets and carry it squealing and kicking all the way back to King Eurystheus, who was so terrified he hid in a giant bronze jar. Then came one of the smelliest labors. Labor 5. Clean the Augean stables in a single day. King Augeas owned a massive herd of cattle, and their stables hadn't been cleaned in 30 years. The filth was legendary. This wasn't a task for a shovel, it was a task for a genius. Hercules saw that 2 rivers, the Alpheus and the Peneus, flowed nearby. With his incredible strength, he diverted the course of both rivers, sending a powerful torrent of water washing through the stables, cleaning them completely in a matter of hours. Work smarter, not harder, right? For his 6th labor, Hercules had to deal with the Stymphalian birds. These weren't your average pigeons. They were man-eating birds with bronze beaks, sharp metallic feathers they could launch like arrows, and toxic droppings. They had taken over a lake, making the area uninhabitable. The marshy ground was too soft to walk on, and there were too many to fight at once. The goddess Athena gifted him a rattle forged by Hephaestus. The noise from the rattle was so unbearable it startled the birds into the sky. Once they were airborne, Hercules used his Hydra-poisoned arrows to shoot them down one by one. Now, things start to go international. Labor 7. Capture the Cretan bull. This bull was the father of the Minotaur and was wreaking havoc on the island of Crete. After getting permission from King Minos, Hercules overpowered the bull with his bare hands and shipped it back to the mainland. It was a straightforward test of strength, proving yet again that no single beast could match his power. For labor number 8, Hercules had to steal the mares of Diomedes. These weren't just horses, they were vicious, man-eating horses owned by the giant King Diomedes. Hercules' approach was brutal and effective. He defeated Diomedes and fed him to his own horses. Once they had eaten their master, the horses strangely became calm. Hercules bound their mouths and easily led them back to Eurystheus, completing another deadly task. Labor 9 was a diplomatic mission gone wrong. Obtain the girdle of Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazons. This beautiful leather belt was a gift from the war god, Ares. When Hercules arrived, Hippolyta was actually impressed by him and freely agreed to give him the girdle. Mission complete, right? Wrong. Hera, disguised as an Amazon, spread a rumor that Hercules was there to kidnap their queen. The fierce warrior women attacked. In the tragic battle that followed, Hippolyta was killed, and Hercules had to fight his way out with the girdle. The 10th labor took him to the very edge of the known world. He had to steal the cattle of the three-bodied giant, Geryon. Geryon lived on the island of Erythea, far out in the Western Ocean. To get there, Hercules, in a bold move, shot an arrow at the sun god Helios out of frustration with the heat. Amused rather than angered, Helios lent him his golden chariot, or sometimes a giant golden cup, to sail the ocean. On the island, Hercules defeated Geryon's two-headed guard dog and then the giant himself, claiming the cattle and herding them all the way back across Europe. We're almost there. Labor 11. Steal the golden apples of the Hesperides. These apples, which granted immortality, were a wedding gift to Hera, guarded by a 100-headed dragon and the Hesperides nymphs. Hercules didn't even know where the garden was. On his journey, he had a famous encounter. He found the Titan Atlas, holding the sky on his shoulders. Hercules knew Atlas was the father of the Hesperides and made a deal. Hercules would hold up the sky if Atlas would fetch the apples. Atlas agreed, but upon returning, he tried to trick Hercules into holding the sky forever. Thinking fast, Hercules played along and asked Atlas to just take it back for a moment so he could adjust his cloak. As soon as Atlas took the weight, Hercules grabbed the apples and ran. A true battle of wits. Finally, the 12th labor, the most dangerous of all. Capture Cerberus, the three-headed guard dog of the underworld. Hercules had to journey into the land of the dead itself. He confronted Hades, the god of the underworld, who agreed to let him borrow Cerberus on one condition. Hercules had to subdue the beast without using any weapons. So, protected by his lion skin cloak, Hercules wrestled the monstrous hound into submission. He dragged the terrifying, drooling, snarling Cerberus all the way to Eurystheus, who, once again, leaped into his jar in pure terror. Hercules then returned the dog to Hades as promised, and with that, the 12 labors were complete. Hercules was free. He had faced down monsters, outsmarted gods, and traveled to the ends of the earth and beyond. He had paid his penance through impossible feats of strength, endurance, and intelligence. The story of Hercules' labors is more than just a myth. It's a powerful reminder that with courage and ingenuity, there's no challenge we can't overcome. What did you think of Hercules' incredible journey? Which labor was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into mythology, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic stories. See you next time.